Fundamentals of Chinese 2, Unit 10, Shopping, Shopping for Clothes. Understand it. Turn to pages 226 to 228. Grab a pen or a pencil and be prepared to take notes. Okay, in this dialogue, Leo goes to a clothing store to buy some stuff. And so this first sentence that we are looking at here is parenthetical, and it's setting the scene of where the dialogue is taking place. And it says, 李友在一个商店买东西，售货员问他。So this 商店, you haven't seen before. 商店 means shop or store. And just like in English, it can be, a wide variety. A food store or a clothing store, shoe store, etc. Okay, the next new character in this sentence is 买. And 买 means, and here's the pinyin for it, means to buy something. So 李友在一个商店. So you should have this piece up here, and then we add on 买. Okay, so you should be able to decipher that. So she's going to buy what? She's going to buy this 东西 here. So what is 东西? 东西 is the word for things or stuff, or I'm going to go to the store to buy something, or to get some things. I'm going to go to the store to get some things. So 李友在一个商店买东西. Okay. Now 东西 is interesting. 东 means east, and 西 is the word for west. And so everything between the east and the west is everything or things. And so that's how the Chinese came to this word 东西. It's everything from east to west, all the things from east to west. So now the meaning is a thing or something, an object. Okay, finally we have 售货员, and 售货员 is shop assistant. So in this word here, 售货 is like a sales of products. But this yuan is, you'll see again and again, this word yuan here is a person who's working, the working staff. So you'll see a lot of words with yuan on the end, and it could be like a postal carrier or a shop assistant and so on. And this yuan will be on the end to designate, the meaning of worker. So now you have enough to decipher this whole sentence. 李友在一个商店买东西，售货员问他. So why don't you pause and write down what you think this sentence means. And you certainly come up with something close to Leo is buying something at a shop, and the shop assistant asks her. Okay, so Leo 在一个商店 at a store or at a shop. 买东西 is buying something. 售货员问他 shop assistant asks her. Okay, so here is the shop assistant talking. And the shop assistant says, 小姐,您要买什么衣服? 小姐,您要买什么衣服? Okay, so 衣服. What is 衣服? 衣服 is clothing. Okay, and real quick, grammar point 1. I'll let you know real quick here that 要, 小姐,您要 买什么东西. So 要 you've heard, I believe, used when we're talking about something that's going to happen in the future. But 要, it's the same character as 要 for, you know, some you will do something. 要 can also mean to want to do something. And grammar point one discusses that and gives you several examples. So 要 here, as you pause and write down what you think this means, 要 you should translate as want to or wants to. Okay? So 小姐,您要买什么衣服? So pause and write down what you think it means. So 小姐, miss, 您要买什么衣服? What clothing do you want to buy? What clothing do you want to buy? 您要, you want to. 您要买 buy. You want to buy 什么衣服? Okay, what clothing? So the word order is, of course, different than it would be in English. 小姐,您要买什么衣服? Okay, miss, what clothing do you want to buy? Okay. Okay. So she responds, or Leo responds, and says, 我想买一件衬衫. 我想买一件衬衫. Okay. So first, real quick, 件 is a measure word for shirts, dresses, jackets, or coats, etc. Something that you wear on the top of your body, not like pants or skirt or anything. Just what you wear up top mostly. So 一件衬衫. So of course, you know 件 now is a measure word. And so 衬衫 must be some piece of clothing, right? And we'll look at that in the next slide. But first, grammar point two. Here's grammar point two. It's on page 232. You may want to pause right now and come and have a look at this. But it gives you a whole list of measure words that you've studied up to this point. So 一个人,一位先生,一杯茶,一瓶可乐, and so on. So you may want to take a look at that. So 件 is the measure word for various types of clothing. And before we move on, I'm pretty sure you've learned 衬衫. If you haven't, it means shirt. And of course, it's in the vocabulary list for this unit, but it means shirt. So you should be able to pause and write down what you think this means. 我想买一件衬衫. I want to buy a shirt. Very simple translation. 我想买一件衬衫. And notice how when the shop assistant asked the 售货员, she said, 你要买, and Leo responds by saying 我想买. So you see that the 要 and the 想 both have the similar meaning of want to do something. Okay. Next here we have the shop assistant, the 售货员, asks another question. 您喜欢什么颜色的? 黄的还是红的? Okay. So 颜色 you haven't seen before. 颜色 means color. 颜色 means color. So you should be able to decipher this first part here right now. 您喜欢什么颜色的? Okay. And you'd think, okay, what color do you like? You think 您喜欢什么颜色 would be enough. And it is, grammatically it's okay, but Chinese often add this de on the end, and that's discussed in grammar point 3, which talks about the use of de as a structure. And so it explains that a little bit. You may want to come and take a look at this. Pause right now, actually, and come to your book, or pause right here and read this. Okay, so here, when it's added at the end of 颜色, it means kind of like which one do you like? Which color? Which one color do you like? 颜色的. I mean, it doesn't really translate perfectly into English, but it's which one do you like, or which color do you like? It is really hard to translate. Now let's take a look at the next piece here. Okay, Huang. All right, now it's the same thing. Huang means yellow, and Hong means red. Okay, so you're going to see the de right here. 你喜欢什么颜色的？黄的还是红的？ Okay, I'm going to go ahead and translate this for you. The yellow one or the red one? So you like which color? The yellow one or the red one? So here, de kind of adds that meaning of which one, because you're talking about clothing. There's a yellow piece of clothing and a red piece of clothing. So in English, we would say, which one do you like? Do you like the yellow one or the red one? Right? So actually, for Chinese learning English, that's kind of confusing to them. They're like, one means one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One means one. But in our English sentence, which one do you like? The yellow one or the red one? Think about it. In this English sentence, one doesn't mean one as in 1, 2, 3, 4. It has a different meaning. It means of these two things or of this group of things, which here is the piece of clothing that you like. And so one is actually kind of a substitute. It's like a pronoun almost. So same in Chinese, this de kind of adds that flavor to it. So 您喜欢什么颜色的？黄的还是红的？ So pause and write down a translation for this, please. Okay, what color do you like, yellow or red? Okay, 你喜欢什么颜色的？黄的还是红的？ So good job. I'm sure you came up with something really close. Okay, remember grammar point 2 gives the list of measure words. So you're learning a new measure word here, the one that's used for pants. 我喜欢穿红的。我还想买一条裤子。我还想买一条裤子。Okay, so 条 is a measure word here. 一条裤子. It's a measure word for pants and other long and thin objects like snakes or strings, etc. Okay, and remember grammar point 2 just had the list of measure words. So 条 is the measure, 条, second tone, 条 is the measure word for pants. And as you've already guessed here, 裤子 is the word for pants. 裤子. So what does this mean? 我喜欢穿红的。我还想买一条裤子. Okay, so pause and write down what you think this sentence means. And I'm sure you came quite close to I like to wear red. 我喜欢穿红的. I like to wear red. I also want to buy a pair of pants. 我还想 I still want to buy. I still 还 want to 想 buy 买。我还想买一条裤子. I also want to buy a pair of pants. Okay, so here we have 多大的? Okay, so we've asked, she knows she wants a shirt and some pants, and we know the color. Now we're looking for 多大的? Okay, the size. 多大的? 多大的? 大号的? 中号的? 还是小号的? Okay, so how is size. Here it means size of clothing. You've learned how before because you also put it at the end of a number when you're talking about the date. Like your birthday is 17号, right? My birthday is January 17th. 我的生日是1月份17号. 1月份17号. So how is what we put on the end of 17 there to mean date. Well, it's also put on the end of a number or a word denoting size to denote size of clothing. So 小 means little. So 小号的 would be a certain size. 中 is the word for medium or middle. So 中号的 would be another kind of size. And then 大 is the word for big. So 大号的 would denote another kind of size. And what grammar point 4 is going to go over, you might want to take a look as it talks about 多. So you've learned 多 to mean more, right? 多 means more. You've learned that in previous lessons. But 多 can also be used interrogatively, meaning it can also be used to make a question. Okay? So you'll notice at the end here there's no ma. Okay? Because remember there's three kinds of questions in Chinese. One that has the ma on the end, right? 你好吗? Right? How are you? The other kind of question is where they repeat the verb or the adjective. 你好不好? Right? Are you okay? 你好不好? Okay. And then the other kind of question is interrogative questions, right? 几点 or 什么事情, right? What matter? Okay. These are they use interrogative words, meaning there's no ma at the end. Okay. So 多 can do the same thing. 多 can make a question an interrogative. So there's no ma on the end. So 多大 would mean how big. How big, right? You want a yellow piece of clothing. How big do you want it? How big? 多大的? 大号的,中号的,还是小号的? Okay, so you should be able to decipher this sentence once you pause and write down the meaning of this. Okay, what size? 多大的,多大的, what size? Large, medium, or small? 大号的,中号的,还是小号的? Okay, good. Okay, next we have Leo responds and says, 中号的,不要太贵的,也不要太便宜的. Okay, so she doesn't want something. 不要太贵的,也不要太便宜的. Okay, and here we have de on the end again being used similarly as we saw before. So you know 贵 means expensive. 便宜 means inexpensive. Okay, 便宜, inexpensive. Okay, so you should know the meaning of this. So Leo responds to that question, 中号的,不要太贵的,也不要太便宜的. So pause and write down what you think this means. And you likely came up with something close to medium, not too expensive, and also not too inexpensive. Okay, or I don't want it to be too expensive. I also don't want it to be too inexpensive. Okay, that would be another way to translate it. 中号的,不要太贵的. Remember, 太 means too. 不要太贵的,也不要太便宜的. I don't want it too expensive. I also don't want it too inexpensive. Now, in Chinese, inexpensive means inexpensive. It doesn't mean cheap. It doesn't. In English, we have the word cheap, which means inexpensive, but cheap also means bad quality. Okay. In Chinese, 便宜 just means inexpensive. It doesn't mean bad quality. All right, next here we have 这条裤子怎么样? So the 售货员, the shop assistant, the 售货员 responds with a question and says, 这条裤子怎么样? 这条裤子怎么样? So you should know the meaning of this. Pause and write down an English translation. How about this pair of pants? How about this pair of pants, right? 怎么样? How about 这条 this pants, this pair, 裤子 pants. How about this pair of pants, right? 这条裤子怎么样? All right, next we have Leo coming back. 颜色很好. 如果 长短合适的话，我就买。Okay, so this is a complicated construction here that you're going to learn. 颜色很好，如果长短合适的话，我就买。Okay, so this 如果的话，如果 and then some phrase or word in here 的话。Okay, this 如果如 you have to curl your tongue, remember, when you say the R. 如果 right? Something something 什么什么如果什么什么的话如果的话 This is a construction that just simply means if. So don't try and question it. It's just the way it is, like the sky is blue. This is one way that the Chinese express if. It's 如果的话 Okay? So if. So this is a conditional phrase up here. If da 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 da, then da 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 da. Okay, 颜色很好，如果长短合适的话，我就买。So this is the if, this is the then, and that's if this. If 长短合适, then I will buy. Okay? So now we got to find out what this 长短合适 means. Hi, 长短 means length. Okay, 长, you know, means long, and 短, I think you've learned before, means short. 长 means long, 短 means short. These two characters together translate into the English word length, 长短. So it's nice. A lot of Chinese words really make sense. You know, length isn't like, you know, short, long short. Right? But for Chinese, the word for length is made up of the word for long and the word for short. 长短. Okay, so 颜色很好，如果长短合适的话，我就买。So if the length is 合适, then I will buy it. Right? If the length is 合适, then I will buy it. So what is 合适? Because if the length is 合适, then she's going to buy it. So what do you think? You could probably guess 合适 right now. And let's see if you guessed it right. If you guessed suitable or something close to suitable, then you're absolutely right. 颜色很好，如果长短合适的话，我就买。Okay, so what does it mean? Pause and write down the sentence. And as you're translating it, 我就买. Think of this 我就买. You've learned the word 就, and so here 就买 is being used here as the second part of the conditional. If it's this, then I really am. I'm just going to buy it. And so the 就 is sort of expressing that then, you know, as a result of this if, then I will buy it. So it's expressing that. So pause and write down what you think it means. Okay, the color is nice. I'll buy them if the length is suitable. I'll buy them if the length is suitable. 如果长短合适的话, if the length is suitable. Right? That's this piece here. 如果长短合适的话, if the length is suitable. 我就买. Remember, 就 has that sense of urgency, right? 就我就买. The color is nice. I'll buy them if the length is suitable. All right. Then the 售货员, the shop assistant says, 您试一下. So you know 一下 can go on the end of a verb to make a suggestion, right? It makes the verb sound polite. It's a suggestion. 您试一下, the 售货员 says. 试 means to try on or to try out, like to try on a piece of clothing or to try out, you know, a guitar or something like that. 试. So what does this sentence mean? Pause and write down what you think it means. Try them on or try it on. 您试一下. So the 售货员 suggests to Leo that she tries them on. All right, Leo comes back and says, 不用试,可以. All right, so 不用,用 means to use, but here, together with 不用 means not necessary or need not do something. Okay, so need not do something. So after the 不用, you'd have a verb. So we have a verb here that you just learned. 是,不用是,可以. So pause and write down what you think that means. And most certainly you came up with it's not necessary or I don't need to try them on. They are okay. Good. And then the 售货员 or the shop assistant then asks another question to Leo and says, 这件衬衫呢?这件衬衫呢? It's a question. 这件衬衫呢? Okay, so here's the use of 呢. You remember you learned 呢 in the very beginning, 你好, and then 你呢, how about you, right? But instead of how about you, it's the shirt instead of you. 这件衬衫呢? So pause and write down what you think that means. How about this shirt, right? So she's agreed to buy the pants, and now the 售货员 is asking about the shirt. Does she still want the shirt? And Leo responds and says, 也不错,也不错,一共多少钱? Okay, so 也不错 you should have no problem with. This 一共is new. 一共 means altogether. Okay, and then there's a question here. 一共多少钱? So 一共 means altogether. Let's keep moving on here. 多少. So 多 means many, and 少 means few, right? So 多少 together, many, few, can be used interrogatively to mean how much or how many. 多少. So 多少钱. So what is 钱? Now she's buying something, so you can guess what 钱 means. 钱 means money. Okay, so the whole sentence, 也不错,一共多少钱? So pause and write down what you think that means. And I'm sure you came up with something is close to this. Also not bad, meaning the shirt is also not bad. Altogether, how much money or how much does it cost? So altogether, the shirt and the pants. 也不错,一共多少钱? 一共多少钱? Okay, so here we're talking about what it costs. And so you're going to learn here how to say dollar and then dime. Basically our word for dime, their change in units of 10. And then you're going to learn what their penny, the word for penny in Chinese, for their penny. Now the thing is Chinese money is denominated differently, is worth differently. So 6 Chinese dollars is equal to 1 US dollar. So you know how much 1 US dollar, 1 penny, really it doesn't buy anything anymore. So in Chinese, one of their pennies is, it's just too little. It doesn't really buy anything. However, the cost of the shirt in here is going to go down to the penny because they want to teach you the word for dollar and then the dime and then penny. They want to teach you this, so they put it all in the sentence, but this price you should know is not realistic. Okay, so it says 衬衫21块5, 裤子32块9毛9, 一共是54块4毛9分. Okay, so first we have the word for dollar, which is kwai, and it's really like a measure word. Kwai. And if you go look at grammar point 5, in fact, I highly suggest that you pause this recording right now and go read grammar point 5 on page 233 and 234. And it introduces the Chinese money system very quickly. So go take a look at that now and then come back. Okay, so you've looked at that. So kwai, you know now, is the word for dollar, or the unit for dollar. All right, next in here we have mao. And mao is 1/10 of a Chinese dollar, like a dime. So here you have 9毛, all right? So that's 9 dimes. So you got 32块9毛. So $32.90. 32块9毛. $32.90. But it's not just 90 cents, it's 9. So there's pennies in there as well. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Okay, penny is fun. Okay, fun is 1/100th of a Chinese dollar or a penny. So what does this mean? 衬衫21块5，裤子32块9毛9。So 一共是54块4毛9分. Right, so pause and write down this price. So $21.50 for the shirt is one possible way of translating this first part, or the shirt is $21.50, right? And the pair of pants is $32.99. So together they're $54.49. Now, usually these values would be written out with numbers, but here they're just trying to teach you kwai and mao and fun, so they wrote it this way. Okay, so Leo says 好，这是100块钱. 好，这是100块钱. So 百 is the word for 100. So Leo says 好，这是100块钱. So what's Leo mean here? Write down, pause and write down translation. All right, quite simply, okay, here is $100. So Leo hands her a $100 bill. 好，这是100块钱. Here, 找您45块5毛1，谢谢. Okay, so 找 you're learning, it means to give or to make change. To give or to make change. So the shirts cost whatever they cost, 50-something dollars. Leo gave her a $100 bill. So then the 服务员, when she's handing back Leo's change, says the following: 找您45块5毛1，谢谢. So pause and write down what you think that sentence means. All right, very likely you came up with, here is $45.51 change. Thank you. 找您45块5毛1，谢谢. Here is your $45.51 change. Thank you. And that concludes Understand It for Unit 10.